The opening of the meeting was highlighted by a special presentation honoring Dr. Jerry Rounds as the first recipient of the ELECTRI International Research Excellence Award for exemplary scholarship, professionalism, and service to the electrical construction industry. Dr. Rounds has dedicated his career to creating and delivering research-based educational content for the construction industry, especially electrical construction. Here is Dr. Rounds talking with a colleague, Dr. John Messner, about the research process.
Almost 20 years ago, I was doing some training programs for NECA and heard that they were going to start a foundation. So I went into their office and talked to them about it because I thought this would be a great thing for academics. I was lucky enough to get one of the first projects and found it to be a wonderful experience.
That's great.
When did you get started?
I started working with the foundation about 5 years ago, shortly after I returned to Penn State from being in industry, and was lucky enough to get involved in one of the projects that really looked at how to get the research results into the industry. And it was a very valuable experience.
And have you seen that research been put to use?
Yes, in fact, over the last 5 years, we've continued to develop that. We just recently have been working with the foundation to release the ELECTRI Knowledge Network. That project's really allowed us to create resources that we use throughout the university to get some graduate students involved in helping us to build those resources and actually bringing them giving them a lot of knowledge about the electrical contracting industry.
One of the things I've found is that by doing projects in the electrical area is that students all of a sudden begin to open their eyes and see, oh, there's something more than general contracting. It's a broader industry. I can go into a lot of other things, and so it's good for them from that standpoint.
I'm curious, have you been able to build off of some of the earlier projects that you've performed for the foundation in later projects?
I have to some extent. The first project I did was a great joy to me because I got to go around and ask contractors, what do you do that's right? What are the keys to your success? This is always fun to ask contractors because when they sit around the table, maybe 2 or 3 of them will be interested in talking about how they're successful. The rest of them say, I'm not going to tell my competition how to do it. But then when they exchange the information, then it gets everybody into the discussion, and I sit there and take notes, and I get all the information that all of them have. Where I've been able to use it, building on that, is to crank it into training programs that I also do for the electrical industry. And so a lot of the things that I learned from the contractors, and the good contractors, I can turn around and disseminate through training and talk to young project managers and field supervisors. So that's the biggest way that I've been able to build on it. How about you?
We've been working on the ELECTRI Knowledge Network, and that knowledge network has been a really valuable application for us to be able to build upon. And I know the foundation has actually supported the initial development of that network, but it's very interesting to see that many other groups are very interested in that similar approach. And so even though the ideas and concepts were initially brought out of the foundation's research, there are a lot of other foundations now that are considering implementing similar systems. I think it's very interesting each year when we receive the request for proposals because there are a number of very high priority topics that are identified by the foundation, and it really helps us focus some of the research areas on things that are important to the industry, and I think that's a big key of the way that the foundation conducts their research is to be able to target real problems in the industry. And many of those are far-reaching problems. They're not just a challenge that is a focus of the day, but is something that's looking 5 or 10 or 15 years out in the future and allows us to really identify those topics and build upon them in the proposals that we put together.
The foundation is always looking for new areas to study, and it's interesting to me as I work with researchers and look at some of the topics and some of the things they're researching, I begin to see some of the new areas that the foundation is going into and exploring. I have a study to look at prefabrication and pre-assembly, which I think will be very important to our industry. Hopefully as the foundation evolves and grows, we can also get some other researchers involved. I also find it interesting every time I come to a meeting, and I've come to just about all of them, I see a few more members. So I'm looking forward to seeing the foundation grow, get more members, and expand what they do, because then they can expand the research that they do, the types of studies.